Ladies and gentlemen, Week 11 has come and gone, and it served as quite the prologue as we head into the final three games of the regular season. The race for the playoffs has never been and may never be as tight as it is right now, as we are literally sitting with half the league at 6-5 or 5-6. The door for the playoffs is still wide open, and it's still anybody's for the taking as of right now. So that's still up in the air, and we may not see the playoff picture be completely locked until week 14, keeping things extra exciting. Can't wait to see what happens in week 12 and moving forward. As usual, I'm going to break down the matchups and the key players, and I'm going to address the storylines and scenarios that I presented on the Friday afternoon episode as well throughout all these matchups. So stay tuned. I've got the stories, I've got the recap. It's happening now on Fantasy Talk. All right, we're going to start off with the first matchup, and that was myself versus Sam. Although she put on a convincing performance in Week 11, Sam fell short to the number one team in the league. She had impressive fourth quarter theatrics from her trio of Titans, and it was enough to keep me on my toes for a bit there. I was really starting to shake while I was putting out that produce at Bush's. And ultimately, it comes down to 34 seconds left of the Sunday night football game, where Patrick Mahomes indeed finds Travis Kelce in the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown to not only give the Chiefs the win, but myself the victory as well. As a result, I would sit Ronald Jones and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense because the way this fantasy football season's been going, I just had these premonitions of Ronald Jones getting concussed and fumbling on the first play of the game, and the Rams putting 40-plus points up on the Buccaneers. So I ultimately chose to sit them, took the safe move, and it's paid off for me, and I am the first team that gets to punch their ticket to the 2020 playoffs. Sam's loss sees her drop out of the race for Division 2, which I talked about, but she still has a shot at the playoffs. Not eliminated yet, Sam. Keep working at it. Next game I'm going to talk about is Eric and Mike. Mike was able to get the job done with relative ease this week from key receivers in Michael Thomas and Curtis Samuel, as well as tight end Darren Waller. His victory closed the door on a potential late push for the division championship, as I said, for Sam, as well as Dwayne, who are going to need to make a deal with the devil just to secure that last spot in the playoff picture. Eric's loss also saw him lose out on the Division One championship race, and he is also pursuing a wild card spot as well. It's going to come down to McCaffrey. I've been saying it for weeks. We're still waiting on his health to come back. I think he's currently listed as doubtful going into Week 12. The only real storyline worth noting for Eric was Justin Herbert did explode to a 30-plus point game. And we've only been seeing him, kind of rise as the weeks have gone on, and his draft stock is definitely improving. Herbert could totally be a top 5 quarterback picked in 2021 if he keeps up this performance. And the Chargers really need that sort of dynamic playmaker at the quarterback position. They haven't won a lot of those close games, so I'm sure as Herbert improves, the Chargers will improve as well. Moving on, we have Alex and Dwayne. Alex 6-5, Dwayne moves to 3-8. Alex won. And moving on, just kidding. We got to talk about all the games here. So, as expected, Alex put Dwayne down like Ole Yeller in a matchup that was pretty much decided by halftime of the 1 o'clock matchups. Alex's win does come at a cost, as rookie sensation Joe Burrow has suffered a season-ending injury in an ACL tear. So now Alex is going to be relying on Tom Brady to man his quarterback spot going forward. To the 3 teams left who have Dwayne on your schedule, that would be Sam, Trevor, and Mike. You've pretty much been privileged with a free win during the most crucial point of the season. So, you lucked out there. If that helps you get into the playoffs, no one can take that away from you. That's just the way that the schedule was set up based on the divisions. So good luck to you guys with your Dwayne. Basically, it's like a free space in bingo. The next matchup was Matt and Spencer Pienga in what will be known as the recount game. What a finish to this matchup. Comes down to Monday Night Football, and Pianga was trailing by 30. How many points? Oh my gosh, 30 points he was down by. But he rises to the occasion to knock off the number 3 team in the league. And Spencer Pianga sees 58 points scored between Leonard Fournette, Chris Godwin, and Robert Woods, who had 30. For Matt, Antonio Brown did have a solid 13-point night, but it just wasn't enough. And what really did Matt in was a pitiful showing from Ravens running back Gus Edwards. And just like Matt will never go back to Mena's joint, we'll probably never see him start Gus Edwards again. He probably can't trust him after this. So Spencer's win does keep him alive in the D2 race, and Matt's loss drops him to 4th now, only 1 game ahead of those 5 and 6 teams knocking on the door. All right. Then we had Jamie and Trevor. A lot of bad blood was going on between these two teams heading to this matchup following Trevor's guarantee of victory back in Week 10. Jamie's team was propelled by performances from Big Ben, Melvin Gordon, and Keenan Allen, while Trevor saw productive numbers from Russell Wilson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Tyler Boyd. In a matchup that would ultimately be decided on Monday night as well, Gronk fell short in delivering Jamie her 5th straight win, and Trevor was able to also keep himself alive in the D2 championship alongside his brother Spencer. So both of them still alive for that for at least another week. With only 3 weeks remaining, Jamie has the toughest schedule out of any other team in the league, as she will be facing off against Ben, myself, and Alex for those final 3 games. It's certainly going to take some true grit on Jamie's end to secure a wild card spot in these playoffs. Lastly, we've got your game of the week, and it was Ben versus Spencer Opie. Ben came in at 6-4, and Spencer Opie came in at 5-5. But this matchup pretty much was everything but the game of the week. Ben pummeled his heterosexual life partner by a whopping 39 points, and he's also the coach of the week as he was able to get 142 in this matchup as well. So hats off to you, Ben, coach of the week, really riding out that momentum, and we'll see how you're able to get going into these final 3 weeks. As you're really trying to catch me here for the division championship. Again, another example of Ben just being Ben with huge day from Dalvin Cook, as well as a 35 performance from quarterback Deshaun Watson. And Spencer Opie put his eggs in the Detroit Lions basket this week, who looked lost out there against the mediocre Panthers, but that's basically just the pot calling the kettle black if you're a Lions fan. Anyways, Ben jumps into 3rd place with the win, passing over Matt. While Spencer currently does hold the last spot in the playoffs, but he is one of the 4, 5, and 6 teams, so victories at this point are absolutely key. Well, those are your matchups. That's what happened. Like I said, a lot of those scenarios I talked about did end up happening. Trevor and Spencer, the destiny was in your hands, and you took the wins, so congrats on still being in that fight for Week 12. I think you guys are playing. Are you guys playing against each other in Week 12? You are. So we do have a Pianga Bowl round 2 in Week 12, which I'm sure we're all excited to see on the outcome. Can Spencer get his revenge over big brother Trevor? We will find out on that. Lastly, we're only 48 hours away from kickoff on Thanksgiving, so Week 12 is knocking on the door. I've got a new guest appearance happening Week 12, so excited to keep that going. Keeps things a little interesting and entertaining, so that's a surprise. You'll have to stay tuned for that. And the battle for attrition is on. Like I said, 4 teams are at 5 and 6, 2 are at 6 and 5. Wins are at a premium now. You win, and it means so much more than it has ever meant, obviously. That's all I really got for you guys. Again, really exciting week, and we just have to wait and see on this. I'll be presenting the Week 12 storylines and suggestions as well in the Week 12 preview. So I leave you with good night and good luck on those waivers tonight. Bye, guys.